Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to continue the Napoleon in Italy series from Epic History TV. This is Battle of Bassano. Napoleon is really on a streak here, right? He almost lost the grasp of victory, right? He almost was pushed back, encircled, almost captured himself, right? Then he had brilliant victories. And yeah, let's keep going with this. This is very exciting, right? Original videos down below. Let's go.
An Epic History TV PMF Productions collaboration.
Okay, Battle for Mantua. Okay.
1796. The war
Okay,
between
August.
France's infant republic and the coalition seems to be tipping in France's favor.
I mean, let's look at the map. Look how far Napoleon has gotten. He has taken Piedmont out of war, who has been at war for almost, what was it, 20 years, 15 years, right? He went down to the Papal States. He got money there. Look at the German front. Jourdan and Moreau, they're just standing still. Charles is there. Okay. Nothing's happening up there, as far as I can see. And I'm probably seeing that the Austrians are probably winning against the French in the northern front, right? But look at Napoleon. He's halfway through Italy. He's almost at Mantua. And if he takes Mantua, it's pretty easy for him to have control over all of the Italian boots. And then he can attack the Austrian Empire, right? Okay, let's see what he does.
In the Vendée, General Hoche has brought the 3-year royalist revolt to an end.
Okay.
This appalling civil war has cost an estimated 165,000 lives.
Oh my.
And is the bloodiest chapter of the French Revolution.
Yep.
Bourbon Spain allies with France. They
There
will
you go.
combine forces against their common enemy, Great Britain.
And I think the reason why they switched sides or sided with France is because I think the British Navy either sunk a lot of Spanish military ships or trade ships, right? Merchant vessels, right? I think that's the reason why they switched sides.
In Germany, the armies of General Jourdan and General Moreau have crossed the Rhine and are advancing on Vienna.
Okay. And probably, okay, so I was wrong a little bit there, but probably the reason why Jourdan and Moreau can push forward like that is because Napoleon took the brunt of Wurmser's fresh attack. And remember, Napoleon has troops that have been in constant warfare. They're probably eating more now, but still got some more money. But yeah, Napoleon needs reinforcements, right?
While in Italy, Napoleon's stunning victory at Castiglione has sent the Austrians scurrying back to the Tyrol.
Yep.
Napoleon can now resume his siege of Mantua, the key to Italy. But he'll have to start over. The Austrians have used the interlude to drag away his heavy guns and demolish his siege works.
And that's smart of them.
In summer, the pestilential marshes that surround the city are lethal. The Austrian garrison has been decimated by disease, mostly malaria.
Look at that.
General Serrurier, commanding the French siege, also contracts the disease.
Yep.
He returns to France to recover and is replaced by General Sauge. Sickness and a shortage of equipment once more plague the French army in Italy.
Makes sense.
Even the heroic General Massena asks to be replaced, citing ill health and exhaustion. Napoleon rejects his request.
Wow.
Despite these problems, the Directory in Paris orders Napoleon to attack as part of a grand strategic offensive against Austria.
Sure.
He is to break through to Innsbruck, join forces with Moreau's Army of the Rhine, then together invade Austria and force Emperor Francis to sue for peace.
I mean, that looks like a great plan, but again, the people who made these plans aren't on the ground and looking, oh, that's how the terrain looks. Maybe we can't go to Innsbruck, right? Because I believe there's a lot of mountains there. I might be wrong, but okay.
Napoleon faces an enemy of roughly equal size.
Yep.
So he plans to use speed and concentration of force to fall upon Austrian troops in the Adige Valley and
Makes
clear
sense.
the path northwards. His opponent, Austrian Field Marshal von Wurmser, is under immense pressure to relieve Mantua.
Yep.
His staff believe that recent fighting has left the French army shattered and incapable of offensive operations.
Sort of true,
the
right?
Austrians plan to make their own advance. Rather than try to force his way past French troops in the Adige Valley, Wurmser will keep Davidovich in a defensive role, while he leads a wide outflanking march via the Brenta Valley and Bassano to reach Mantua from the east.
Again though, Wurmser, great planning, great plan. But this is a problem though, because Napoleon's plan is to push forward and his plan is to flank around. I don't know. This could work. Wurmser could get to Mantua if he's fast enough and if Davidovich can hold back Napoleon so he doesn't return south, right?
There he will link up with its garrison. And when Napoleon comes south to face him, he will be caught between two Austrian armies.
That looks like a great plan, but let's see. I doubt if Bonaparte had command of the Austrian forces, he could have contrived it better for his own purpose. Wow. Okay. British
The
observer.
Austrians begin their advance on the 1st of September. French forces begin their advance the following day.
Wow.
Massena pushes up the Adige Valley, with Augereau taking a tougher, mountainous route on his right.
Wow.
General Vaubois marches around Lake Garda to join them, with one brigade crossing by boat.
Okay.
The forward Austrian outposts are driven in, and by the 4th, 3 French divisions are converging on Davidovich's heavily outnumbered force near Roven.
I mean, one thing though. One thing that I can just clearly see here, right? If Napoleon defeats Davidovich and Davidovich escapes north, Wurmser has been tricked by his own plan, because his plan is to outflank Napoleon and get to Mantua, right? Napoleon's plan is to go north, but he could just go north and then east to attack Wurmser. So Wurmser is basically encircled if Napoleon defeats Davidovich quickly enough.
General
Look
Victor
at that.
leads the main attack straight up the road,
Wow.
driving back the enemy center. Meanwhile, French light infantry swarm up the sides of the valley to outflank the enemy. It's a tactic the French will use again and again to force the Austrians out of strong positions in the narrow passes.
Wow.
The Austrians are driven up the valley towards Davidovich's main camp at Caliano.
Uh-oh.
As Napoleon
Wow.
remarks, this position should have been impregnable. Sheer mountains, either side
Yeah.
of a valley floor that's just a few hundred yards wide.
Yep.
A small castle and wall add to the formidable natural defenses.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. How would you attack that castle without 5 times the garrison of the castle? Can you bombard the castle? Maybe. Right? Like, look at that. And he said it should have been a good defensive position. I guess Napoleon takes it then.
But its defense has been left to a single, shaken Austrian regiment,
Wow.
which is given no time to prepare. When the
Napoleon
French
is
hit them
speed,
with
right?
speed
He
and
uses
numbers, they
Yep.
give way. Massena's troops break through to the main Austrian camp, where soldiers, expecting a much longer respite, are preparing dinner. The arrival of the French sparks chaos and confusion.
Yep.
The Austrian escape route is immediately jammed with fleeing troops, wagons and guns.
Wow.
The French round up around 3,000 prisoners.
Wow.
Alongside 25 guns and 7 standards. Napoleon...
In what? In 3 days he has done this? In 3 days Napoleon has just routed Davidovich. Davidovich is retreating north. Now Napoleon cannot choose. Go east and attack Wurmser and sort of destroy his siege of Mantua and protect his flank, or just go north as the plan was and attack Austria. Like, let's see what he does.
He faced the whole Austrian army around Trento.
Okay.
But now, speaking with prisoners and locals, he learns that Wurmser and half his army have set off down
Wurmser is slow.
Valley. Destination unknown.
Sure
With
it is.
typical speed and decisiveness, Napoleon tears up the plan to join Moreau at Innsbruck and orders a pursuit. If he can catch and destroy Wurmser before he reaches safety, the war in Italy will be won.
Looks like it, yes. On the 8th I shall be at Bassano. If the enemy waits for me, there will be a battle which will decide the fate of this whole country. Wow. So he tells the directory this, right? Because their plan was, Napoleon should go north. Right? Okay. Gutsy.
When Wurmser receives news of the fiasco at Caliano, his troops are already strung out along the Brenta Valley, with his vanguard approaching Vicenza. There is nothing to gain by turning back.
Makes
he orders
sense.
Davidovich to hold the passes north, assuming they are Napoleon's objective, and pushes on to Mantua. But Napoleon is not going north. He orders Vaubois to pursue Davidovich and keep him blocked in, while Augereau's division leads the rest of the army down the narrow, funnel-like Brenta Valley in pursuit of the
imagine
Austrians.
being there. Wow.
The army of Italy is brimming with confidence and momentum, and marches much faster than the Austrians.
Makes sense. Even though they have battled.
At Levico offers token resistance before it's bundled down the Brenta Valley. The next day, French light infantry rout a 3,000-strong Austrian rearguard at Primolano, taking most of them prisoner. Wurmser decides to make another stand at Bassano, where the valley opens into flat plains. With Colonel Lannes leading the charge, the Austrians are driven back, then chased into town by Murat's cavalry.
Wow.
Amid panic, chaos and blocked roads, the French take another 2,000 prisoners, including an Austrian general and 30 guns.
Look at that.
Wurmser is in disarray, down to 12,000 men, outnumbered 2 to 1, with part of his force retreating in the wrong direction towards Trieste. His only hope is to reach Mantua.
Wow. So his whole plan was to go to Mantua to then attack Napoleon when Napoleon comes back. But now he's retreating to Mantua. Wow. To safety, basically. But also, this is either his men die as casualties attacking Napoleon or taking prisoners, or dying in the siege of Malaria.
The two armies are in a foot race. But for the first time in the campaign, Austrian soldiers outmarch their exhausted French counterparts.
Okay. Makes sense.
Wurmser leaves a small garrison at the fortress of Legnago
Wow,
to slow Augereau's pursuit.
that's brave.
Forging ahead, Massena manages to block the Austrians' path at Cherea.
Okay.
But General Ott makes a determined attack and clears
Wow.
the road, taking 700 French prisoners
Wow.
and 7 guns.
Respect.
It is a rare...
Oh my, 700 French soldiers into the siege of Mantua. And probably gonna die. Starvation, malnutrition, or... I mean, basically the same, but disease.
defeat
Wow.
for Massena.
Yeah, that's big.
With the help of a local informant, Wurmser then finds an intact, unguarded bridge across the
Wow.
Tione River.
Look at this. When Wurmser needs to do something, he does it. And his lower commanders. Look at that. The garrison at Legnago, I mean, brave. Imagine being one of those who has left behind, but you have to do what you have to do, right? You can't just say, no, I don't want to. Right? You have to do what you have to do to save the entire army.
Reaches the outskirts of Mantua.
Look at this.
On the 13th of September. His army has been saved from destruction by the skin of its teeth.
Saved from destruction in a battle against Napoleon. But put into another situation where the entire force can be either captured or die of disease. What soldier could fail to admire the gallant old Wurmser, never depressed by defeat, who, having been hunted from Brenta to Mantua, now stood in front of the garrison, determined to cut his way back. Wow.
Napoleon has failed to prevent Wurmser reaching Mantua. But he knows that if he can bottle him up inside the city, it will put intolerable strain on its supplies.
That's true.
For that reason, Wurmser wants to keep his army outside the city walls.
That also
free
makes sense.
to maneuver, and crucially, forage for supplies in the surrounding country.
Yep.
The next morning, as Augereau accepts the surrender of the Austrian garrison at Legnago,
Wow.
Massena tries a surprise attack at Due Castelli. But
Look at
it's
that.
overambitious. His men have not had time to recover from their long
Yep.
march.
I mean, yeah, think about this. The 14th of September. The French started the 2nd. So they've gone for 12 days. Almost non-stop battle against a retreating enemy. Which means they have to have quick pace of walking and marching, right? And attacking and then marching again, right? That's...
And the
Yeah.
Austrians fight bravely. The following day, Napoleon launches a much larger, coordinated attack.
Okay. This could work.
Sauge's division advances on the right. His troops are soon in heavy fighting with Ott's brigade around the Villa La Favorita. Augereau's division, under temporary command of General Bonne, advances along the Mincio River, trying to turn the Austrian right flank.
Okay.
When Wurmser sends reserves from his center to strengthen
Uh-oh.
both flanks, Massena's concealed division launches its attack.
Uh-oh.
Victor
You have to
and
retreat.
Crampon lead the way with their veteran demi-brigades.
Yep.
Austrian cavalry hurl themselves at the French, but
Wow.
are beaten off.
Oh
Heavy
my.
fighting
Uh-oh.
rages on the outskirts of Mantua for much of the afternoon. Finally, Wurmser's center begins to crumble, and
Uh-oh.
the French take San Giorgio. Much of the Austrian right wing is cut off.
Yep.
Many are forced to surrender, while others flee into the lake.
Wow.
With the Austrian line shattered, Wurmser orders his men to fall back to the safety of Mantua's citadel.
Is it safety? Is it safety? Or is it their doom? They're going to the citadel, but still, you go to Mantua. You're stuck in a siege. Maybe you have Austrian help coming, but... disease again, man. Look at that. Look at that.
The troops that were to have rescued Mantua are now trapped alongside its garrison.
Yep.
By early
Look
October,
at that.
the French have cut off the city and resumed their siege.
Okay.
Conditions inside Mantua deteriorate rapidly.
That makes
Disease,
sense.
wounds and malnutrition kill on average nearly 100 Austrian soldiers every day for
100
6 weeks.
every day for 6 weeks.
Civilians are reduced
Wow.
to eating rats and horses.
Wow. Can't you fish?
Napoleon, meanwhile, returns to Milan, sending his aide-de-camp, Major Marmont, to Paris to present 22 captured Austrian standards to the Directory.
That's cool. Maybe get reinforcements.
But elsewhere, the war has not been going so well for France. Archduke Charles, younger brother of the Emperor Francis, has defeated General Jourdan's army twice in 2 weeks.
Wow.
It and General Moreau's army of the Rhine are forced to retreat back to the frontier.
So one thing that the directory can say here to Napoleon is, you should have gone north to Innsbruck and combined your force with Moreau and attack Vienna. You should have done that. It's your fault. They could say that. But also Napoleon has captured an entire army inside a siege. So, you know, they can blame Napoleon here.
These setbacks mean Napoleon will get very few of the reinforcements he's so urgently requested.
He wants 25,000. He got 3,000.
Are exhausted. Many
Wow.
of them are sick. They must contain an enormous and increasingly desperate garrison in Mantua.
Yep.
With the certain knowledge that the Austrians will try again soon to save the city. And there are diplomatic concerns which also trouble Napoleon.
The Pope?
In Rome, the Pope stirs animosity against the French,
That makes
citing
sense.
their treatment of the Catholic Church in the territories they administer.
Yep. Which is true. And again, who does the French army represent? The French troops. They represent plunderers who attack Catholic churches. Churches, doesn't matter if it's Protestant, but they attack churches, monasteries, execute priests, bishops, take money, kill civilians, take their money as well. And France represents the Antichrist, sort of, right? They're very atheistic. Not as much atheistic as with Robespierre, but still it represents that. Although they have Spain on their side, which are very Catholic, so I don't know how that works. And they have monarchy, but you know, this makes sense that the Pope does this.
These now include the Cispadane Republic, formed in part from the Duchy of Modena, which Napoleon has abolished for colluding with the enemy.
Wow.
There is also the lingering threat that Naples may rejoin the war at a critical moment to stab him in the back. So, to secure his southern flank, Napoleon concludes a comprehensive peace treaty with Naples without bothering to consult the Directory.
What is that then?
It's actions like this that feed the whispers in Paris. This popular young general's ambition seems limitless.
Yep.
Might he not one day prove a dangerous political player?
That's true. Although, you can also see this as Napoleon is a good, one of the best military commanders, but also he can do the work as a politician, right? Not all the dirty stuff, but you know, the diplomatic stuff, all that, peace treaties, the administrative things, right? Laws, regulations, all that. He can do this, and this shows at this time that he can do this on his own.
But such talk will be moot if Napoleon fails in Italy.
Yep.
That autumn, as Austrian troops march once more to the relief of Mantua,
Okay.
He will face his most skilled opponent yet, Feldzugmeister Joseph Alvinci.
Okay.
The first man to defeat Napoleon Bonaparte in battle.
Wow, that's exciting. That was great. That was fantastic. As always, Epic History TV is delivering as always. And that's exciting. Napoleon's first loss on the battlefield against Alvinci, which will probably come to the aid of Mantua again, but probably not make the same mistake as Wurmser. Maybe. And Napoleon hasn't got new reinforcements or as much as he wants, right? Alright, we'll see in the next video what happens. Bye.